here on Twitch. Yes, it is. We are in our last 10 episodes of this season before we reach the magic nice number of 69 when the show will start season 5. So that will be exciting. Going to be no, it's not. But I'm going to introduce some new format innovations in season 5. Look forward to those happening. But in the meantime, we remain in season 4, the final stretch of season 4, and it's a 4-paper day. We've got the Daily Mail, we've got the Sun, we've got the Times, we have got the Guardian. The Guardian getting a big run out this week as it continues its week-long investigative series on the Pegasus spy project. Here, just gonna haven't said in the show is live. Show is live. This is the show, and it is live. I had to turn my fan off to do the show and keep the door closed, so I am going to be extremely hot and bothered before the end of this episode. Do enjoy that. Right, we're going to start with, let's see, oh god, do you know what? I'm talking to you now, but I've not even done the production work of sending the pictures to the computer so that we can look at those, so I'm going to just do that now. Yes, I hope you're having a good day. If you're watching this on YouTube, remember to like and subscribe, because that's what you have to say if you're on YouTube. Newspapers, July 21st. Boom. Boom, he said, and indeed, boom. Hello, Studying Fango. How are you? Good to see you. What is going on in Israel today? Right. As I was just saying, I haven't actually got the pictures of today's newspapers prepared properly because I just sat here eating a sausage roll and then saw that it rolled around to 1 minute to 1 and thought, shit, I better actually do the show. Right, so here we go. Rum bum 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 bum. This is the whole music. Bum 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 bum. Bum bum ba dum bum ba dum bum bum bum. Okay, here we go. I have them. Let's do this. It's hot. How hot is it? It's 27 degrees here. Use of weapons, critical support for not doing work to eat a sausage roll. It needed to be done. I went to swim in the river and I came back and I was hungry, so I ate a sausage roll. This is an insight into my secret life of river swimming shame. All right, so look, I guess we'll start with the Sun. Then we'll do we'll start with the Guardian. We'll do a speed run through the Sun. Then we'll do the Times and the Daily Mail. Friday's fuck faces. Too hot to work day. I want to sit in the shade and write. Yeah. I really just want to be in the shade myself. Hey Snur, good to see you. Hey Mark Kenosis. Hey Sunny Fango. Hey Use of Weapons. Hello to you all so far. Right, so let's start with the Guardian. We are now in our 3rd day of the Pegasus Project revelations. 31 degrees in Israel. Oh, no, thank you. Why seaside sheds are having their moment in the sun. Classic Guardian type obsession. The main story revealed Macron and 13 world leaders on leaked data list, and at the questions for Israel over ties to spyware firm, protests in India over Modi allegations, the nasty program at the heart of the claims, and the second story on the Guardian front page today, ministers turning blind eye to COVID border checks. Inside the paper, amateur paleontologists browsing Google Earth astonish experts with unprecedented discovery. They have discovered a 167 million year old fossil. It's a fossil of a Jurassic echinoderm. A Jurassic echinoderm. Basically something with a load of tentacles and shit. There you go. Studying Fango says that she has good AC. I would love to have some air conditioning, to be fair. But then most of the year it wouldn't be of any use in the UK. Woman swapped diamonds for pebbles and £4.2 million heist. Jury told. I think she should be allowed to keep the diamonds. If they're stupid enough to fall for that, they didn't own the diamonds in the first place. Amid burning sand and heat warnings, athletes kick off Tokyo Games. The beach volleyball is not going well. Labour holds key as Tory MPs show defiance over vaccine passes, but they end up voting for them. COVID passports, questions for the PM after U-turn. Clubbing, a night's fun, weeks of woe in Sardinia. Young Italians who only wanted to enjoy themselves in the nightclubs of Sardinia return home either with COVID-19 or laden with guilt, regret and anger at the authorities. That's what we're set to get here. Use of weapons says paleontologists are idiots who find studying people too hard. Archaeologists rise up. Person in the room would agree with you. She's not in the room at the moment, but she would agree. Isolation, number 10 under fire for not listing exemptions. Zoe Williams reviewed the Cummings interview from last night. If you want a good review that isn't just absolutely FBPE brained about it, check out my review, brokenboilboy.substack.com, which also includes reviews of the reviews. Would love it if you share that, and it's about wrestling again, so yeah. AIDS thought PM unfit to serve within weeks of election. That's claimed by Dominic Cummings last night. A study in The Lancet says about 1.5 million children face a hidden pandemic of orphanhood. Fuck. C122, H122, good to see you. How you doing? Mark Gnosis, I would have loved to be a paleontologist up until like 20 years ago when you just made shit up. On page 9, ministers turning blind eye to COVID checks on arrival, say border officials. That is fucked up. Pantomime Horse says, is the Zoe Williams review no good in your opinion? Well, basically, it does this thing that the kind of conspiracist, FBPE, centrist people like to do, which is both suggest that Cummings is an idiot and also that he's some kind of, Machiavellian super genius, which is, a cognitive dissonance that won't hold. It's and basically sort of says, oh well, nothing of interest came out. Lots of interest came out. What was most of interest was the way that Laura Kuenssberg pretended to be shocked that dirty deals and stuff happen in British politics and the media, or in politics anywhere. Mark Gnosis, Cummings is an idiot. He's just smarter than Zoe Williams and her cohort. Yeah, Schrodinger's government advisor, exactly that. I said as much in the newsletter today. Anyway, if you want my views on that, read the newsletter. It really is, I've kind of summed it up in the best way I can there. Toll of pupils absent due to COVID exceeds 1 million. Bezos touches down after his billions by a few minutes in space. I mean, I'm sure you've all seen it, but could it be any more of a recently divorced man's spaceship? It literally looks like a penis. Social care reform plans are put off again until the autumn. Political fallout. I mean, do you remember the stories last week in the Times saying, oh yeah, he'll definitely have a plan by next week? Absolutely. They just fucking accept any old horseshit. In the continuing Pegasus project revelations, revealed Macron and 13 other world leaders on leaked data list. It was Macron, Saad Hariri of Lebanon, Mohammed the Sixth of Morocco, Imran Khan of Pakistan, Cyril Ramaphosa of South Africa, Tedros Adhanom Ghebreyesus of the World Health Organization, and Robert Malley, the longtime diplomat and chief Iran nuclear deal negotiator. Andres Manuel Lopez Obrador says, I'm absolutely sure that this government does not spy on anyone. Is that right? Use of weapons. Soviet Union sent a dog further in a load of old tractor components strapped to a missile than Bezos went. And how much did he spend? Yeah, exactly. Doors to diplomacy. Pressure on Israel grows over ties to spyware firm. Benjamin Netanyahu and Viktor Orban, Israel's then Prime Minister, with his Hungarian counterpart in Budapest in 2017. And with Modi, basically, the feeling is that Netanyahu helped push the NSO group with these countries. What is Pegasus? Spyware can delve into your life via your phone. Pegasus, described as eloquently nasty, has a capability to infect billions of phones running either iOS or Android operating systems. Sue Perkins is a new host of Just a Minute on Radio 4. Absolutely middle-class, centrist, Guardian catnip there. Patel's asylum bill under attack as boat arrivals in UK hit daily record. There's a lot of reasons for that increase in boat arrivals, and it does not mean that the people coming on those boats do not have a legal right to request asylum. Of course they do. Watch the horrible rhetoric in the papers, and The Guardian is among them. A stadium-sized balloon could help astronomers get clear view of space. View Fit Cinemas have been fined £750,000 after a seat crushed a film goer to death. Atik Rafiq, 24, died in hospital after his neck became stuck under the powered chair, which was found to have blown a fuse as he searched for his phone and keys after a movie. Horrible. Mark Canosis says, I like Sue Perkins, but that's because I don't know her politics. Hokusai's 100 lockdown drawings to go on display for the first time. More than 100 postcard-sized drawings by the Japanese artist Katsushika Hokusai, he of the Great Wave, will go on display for the first time in 2 centuries. The museum director, Hartwig Fischer, what a name, called the drawings remarkable and unique. Hokusai is best known for the Great Wave, one of the most recognizable arts of all time. His influence on 19th century impressionists such as Van Gogh was huge. At some point, possibly in his 80s, Hokusai decided to embark on his great picture book of everything. His idea was to present vignettes from Buddhist India, ancient China, and the natural world. It was never published, so the drawings were put in a box and have not been seen since publicly. Pretty amazing. Yes, I'm pretty sure Sue Perkins was a demanding for the army to go in during the riots person, and as Mark Canosis says, so was Cozy Funny too. I mean, Jesus. Hearts will sink. Buckingham Palace braces as Prince Harry signs book contract. I thought they wanted him to earn his own money. Catastrophic funding cuts confirmed for university arts courses. Disgusting moves. Ill health worst in England's coastal town, says Whitty. I'm not surprised. Philip Altman, why Germany's Greens are strangely loath to talk about the weather after catastrophic flood. Sorry, fucking hay fever. Unbelievably awful daily battle to keep flames away in Moscow. US wildfires lightning to poise further threat for Western states. Mason Meyer, 69, says, am I the only one who can care less what the royal family does? No, you are in healthy company on this stream. Susan Mackay writes a very good, in fact, piece about the Troubles and the so-called amnesty that the government wants to bring in. She writes, in the early hours of a summer morning in 1991, Tom Oliver, a 43-year-old father of 7 children, left his home in the border county of Louth in the Republic of Ireland to attend to a calving cow in a field on his farm in the Cooley Mountains. Hours later, his body was found on a remote rural road across the border in South County Armagh. He'd been shot in the head. The IRA claimed it had killed him, alleging that he had informed the security forces about arms it had stored on his land. According to them, he was, in the language of the time, a tout. Still the language now. His family rejected the slur and said he had nothing whatsoever to do with politics or paramilitarism. Paramilitarism, sorry. No one was ever brought to justice for his murder, which was widely condemned at the time. Now, exactly 30 years later, a detective investigating the activities of a suspected British Army agent in the IRA has found fresh DNA evidence, opening up lines of inquiry that could extend from Ireland to Australia. John Butcher, who heads Operation Canova, says he now has a good understanding of what happened and who was involved. After 3 weeks of grieving silently, the Oliver family was welcomed. 3 decades of grieving silently, the Oliver family has welcomed this breakthrough. They have a renewed longing that justice will at last be done. There's a problem. Last week, the Secretary of State for Northern Ireland, Brandon Lewis, announced that the government is to ban all legal investigations into Troubles-related murders and atrocities in Northern Ireland in the years before the Good Friday Agreement was signed in 1998. Tom Oliver's body was found in the north. We do not yet know where he was killed. His car was never found. If the government has its way, the investigation will be going nowhere. Expressions of grief, anger and despair have been reverberated around Northern Ireland since Lewis made his announcement. Relatives of the dead and injured, who thought they could not be hurt any more than they already had, have discovered that fresh pain is indeed available. Hard tears have been shed by people who felt they had no tears left. Well used to obstacles and setbacks, they have nonetheless struggled to find words strong enough to express their disgust. Sandra Peake, who runs the WAVE organisation for victims and survivors, says simply to tell people who have suffered unimaginable grief and trauma that what happened to their loved ones is no longer of any interest to the state is perverse and obscene. It has long been obvious that the government is sick of Northern Ireland with its costly neediness, its fractious politicians, its intractable issues. Let's not forget that in 2019, the poll showed a majority of Conservative voters would be willing to let Northern Ireland go for the sake of Brexit, and that Boris Johnson has repeatedly and blatantly lied about his intentions. Anyway, Read more of that. Use of weapons said, would that be the same IRA that was infiltrated at all levels by our MI5, including that MI5 had agents inside the IRA's internal security unit? Yes, indeed, and that's why in this case it's interesting, because it seems that there was a British, there's a high chance that a British agent was involved in that case. Anyway, it's worth reading. And person in the room who was born in and grew up in Northern Ireland agrees on that one. Use of weapons says, I will never stop saying the Germans deserved those floods for inventing Protestantism. Jesus. George Monbiot says, our rivers are being choked to death by animal dung. Sounds funny, is serious. Rachel Clark writes, this is a leader who's detached from reality. She's talking about Boris Johnson. In the life and arts pages, sun, sheds and seagulls. A day in the life of beach hut Britain. Middle class Britain. Use of weapons says, I am 100% convinced that a lot of the troubles with British Gladio. Yeah, well, it wouldn't be a wild supposition to make. In the obituary, Sir Graham Vick, innovative opera director, determined to put on radical productions, often in unconventional settings. He was born in 1953, died on 17th of July 2021, and David Poole, chief economist at the DHSS, who pushed hard for a fairer allocation of healthcare resources. He was born in 1926 and died in May. C122, H122 says, I think Rachel was talking about Starmer. She was not. She was talking about Boris Johnson, but she could easily have been talking about Starmer. A pretty incredible picture, an aerial view of socially distanced Muslims marking Eid al-Adha with prayers at the Fatih Mosque in Turkey yesterday. Look at that picture. That is incredible. The detail is phenomenal. Right, moving on in the world news. This story that person in the room has highlighted because she particularly wants me to cover this one. Rory Carroll, the Irish correspondent for The Guardian, writes, priest calls burglar's send-off most disturbing liturgy ever. Father Donald Roche called it the most disturbing funeral ever, a homage to a life of crime that played like a scene from The Sopranos. Dean Maguire, 29, an Irish burglar with more than 25 convictions, died in a motorway crash, and mourners wanted to give a memorable farewell. Some blocked off roads leading to St Mary's Priory Catholic Church in Tallaght, Tallett's a shithole, West Dublin, while throngs piled into the church, flouting Ireland's COVID-19 rules. A screwdriver and a torch, tools of a nocturnal trade, were carried to the altar. A poster paid tribute in rhyme. R.I.P. Dean, you know the score, get on the floor, don't be funny, give me the money. Mourners who made eulogies said Maguire would not be forgotten. Sorry for the language, Father. Rest in peace, you fucking legend, said one woman. The atmosphere was highly charged, said Roach, who tried in vain to control the numbers entering the church while a colleague officiated. It was the most disturbing liturgy I've ever seen. There was a sense of restlessness and the priest officiating was up against it, he told RTE. I didn't feel that much in danger, but I did wonder, am I going to get a belt here? Since details of the mass seeped into the media last Friday, there's been a public outcry at the glorification of criminals at funerals. Dermot Martin, a former Archbishop of Dublin, previously vowed that churches would not host such displays. Roach said he had no warning about the tributes. When he phoned the police, he was told their presence would inflame the situation. Gardaí are investigating videos that appeared to show the hearse and some cars jumping traffic lights. Maguire, who was wanted by UK police, died on 7th of July along with Graham Taylor and Carl Freeman when the BMW they were travelling in crashed into a truck on the N7, leaving the truck driver injured. They were driving the wrong way up the motorway after fleeing from police. Trio are reportedly part of the same burglary gang with more than 200 convictions between them. Freeman was buried on Monday after a funeral procession with a horse-drawn hearse escorted by scrambler bikes. Ben & Jerry's have banned the sale of their ice cream in the West Bank, and that's triggered what The Guardian describes as an Israeli rebuke. Mark Canosa says that funeral sounds good as hell. Sounds pretty mad, isn't it? Pantomime Horse, I demand the glorification of criminals is left to Guy Ritchie. India's excess deaths could be 10 times official toll following 2 waves of COVID. Substack have sent me a tea bag to celebrate me writing on Substack. So there you go. That's something. Right. Israel rebuke sounds filthy. Also in the world news, Erdogan's official visit to Cyprus fuels talk of two-state solution. Former teacher Pedro Castillo finally declared Peru's president. Studying Fango says everyone here has gone bonkers about the Ben and Jerry's thing. Tell us what the coverage in Israel is actually like. That'd be interesting. And Ed Sheeran will perform free for 700 fans at the Coventry Empire on 25th of August, any gig organised by HMV, which is sponsoring the redeveloped venue as part of its centenary celebrations. I feel like that's more like a punishment. And on the back page, in the sport, Tokyo on a knife edge, pre-Olympics jitters, sweep host City, England blast to series win over Pakistan, and inside the 100 is here. It's the biggest change to English cricket in modern times, but will it be a hit? Mason Myers 69 says Ed Sheeran should never charge for gigs. Mark Kenosis, I mean, a lot of people in Britain have gone bonkers about it too. Yeah, fair dues, that is true. Right, so give me your scores for The Guardian. Ian Austin has, of course he has. Give me your scores for The Guardian. We will now be moving on to the Daily Mail. The Daily Mail doesn't come this early in the run. We'll now be doing a speed run through the Sun, and minus 69 from C122 H122. Right, let's get the Sun up. Mark Kenosis gives The Guardian minus 69, dog shagging racist, unrelated to any previous links I may have posted in chat. Pac-Man Scratch Card says a $5 to get into an Ed Sheeran gig, a $10 to get out. Use of Weapons says minus Macron's leaked nudes to grannies. Okay, here's the Sun. I'm going to try and do the Sun in 2 minutes 30. Hey Google, set timer for 2 minutes 30.
Okay.
Mason Myers probably pretty left is the answer. Right, on the front page of the Sun, trying to sell a £9.50 holidays. Davina McCall says the pain behind my love of the NHS, promoting the Sun's odious Who Cares Wins awards. And the main story is Everton ace falsely named in child sex probe, but club suspended, another star. I don't know why the Sun is surprised after they did nudge, wink, wink yesterday that thousands of people on social media did some guesses about who the star might be. It's very easy to know who it is. If you write it in chat, I'm not going to read it out loud. On page 3, that isn't page 3, Fast and Furious star Elsa Pataki is pictured wearing lingerie for whatever reason. Suppose a Shaq's out of the question. Love House delayed. Love Island bosses are yet to introduce spin-off filler, Casa and more this series as it is still being built. On page 5, Everton's child sex probe. Fabian is entirely innocent. He's been dragged into this. On pages 6 and 7, they talk about Bezos and his penis rocket. On page 9, Kate Great after 20 years. Kate Moss and Sadie Frost were pictured out boozing again 20 years after they were first shown doing that. On pages 10 and 11, Pingdemic threatens a summer of discontent. Too cruel for school. 1 million kids forced out of classroom. Shambles over isolation policy. On page 13, tempers boil over in charity match brawl as Brits and Wally enjoy hottest day of the year. It's just hot cricket, 32 degrees. Jane Moore is awful. What do migrants say as they cross the channel? Good morning, Britain. Pictured Good Morning Britain had someone out on a boat taking pictures of them as they tend to insist to do. Davina McCall says, to the nurse who robbed my back as I wept for my sister and all the NHS heroes, thank you. There's a picture of Jodie Comer on a beach filming. There's a picture of Kylie Minogue wearing a dress. COVID fears for Tokyo. Games could still face last-minute acts. Mask, don't be silly. And that's Prince Charles pictured on the Isle of Scilly. Jess Phillips writing in the Sun, because of course she is. I'm not an odd job woman, but I do have an odd job. Fuck off. There's a Tokyo 2020 pull-out section. Fantasy Island couples dresses everything from cops to cats. Dating show is hot for roleplay this year. Here's how to do it. Them turning Love Island into some sex advice. In the TV picks, Uprising on BBC One. Yes, watch that. Very much so. Watch that. In Fab Daily, solar power, your sex life, foreplay in the garden, sunbathe semi-nude, whatever. Okay, got to slow down a little bit there. We can still get it done in under 3 minutes. Lockdown drove us to divorce, say these couples. The £50 letter with news. Prince Harry is writing a tell-all book about his life as a royal. The Queen must act and strip him of his titles. He and Meghan act like pampered, spoiled brats who run down the royal family and British people, yet still want all their trappings and perks of their privileged position. That's Margaret Fenner in Peterborough. You will love this smarter Android flip phone. Will you? Isn't Jess Phillips a Labour MP? Thought she had a job. Yeah, she's got a book out about having a job. Rosie Rose says fire Prince Charles into the sun in Minecraft, of course. Pantomime Horse, I guess the only good news for Delph is that no one in Liverpool buys that garbage. It's the sun, it's garbage, says Snur. Pantomime Horse, crazy, how's that front page? Well, yeah, exactly. Fryer, Snur says Delph was training specifically because people were saying it wasn't him. Use of weapons. Delph's story is a non-story. Everyone knew who it was. They're reporting a Twitter rumour of their own creation. Exactly, that's what I'm saying. I totally agree with you. Why is the Sun so obsessed with sex? Because it thinks that's the way to make readers interesting, as if they have no access to the internet. What was... Moving on, they're still trying to sell you a share in a racehorse. I mean, it just seems very dodgy to me. Funeral cover, all that kind of stuff. And in the sport, Jay and Usyk get cocky. Pair confirms Spurs fight. Anthony Joshua paraded his belts on the roof of Tottenham Stadium, where he will face Alexander Usyk in front of 60,000 fans. And the triple dump. COVID, E. coli, and nuclear radiation could still see the Olympics called off. Right, give me your scores for the Sun. For me, it's the classic triple negative, nice minus 69, 69, 69. Going to do a quick roll call before we crash into the Times and come to sharing a racehorse. Sounds like a legitimate business, doesn't it just? It's so hot. It's so hot. In the chat today, there is me. I'm the Broken Bottle Boy. You can follow me on Twitter at Broken Bottle Boy. In the chat, Achibis, Alan Mizrai, Ashflats, McNulty, C122H122, Commander Root, the excellent Yu-Gi-Oh, the equally excellent Farage's Fuckface, there's Friar Bentos, good to see you, Hadley Moon, hello, Janelle, Leddy Baskers, always good to see you, Mark Kenosis, the clown prince of the chat, Albert Camus is here, good to see you. Pac-Man Scratch Card, Pantomime Horse and Reg Tick Seed, always excellent contributors, as is Rosie Rose, Snur, also bringing it in the chat. Studying Fangirl is excellent, do check her out when she streams. Torms is here, good to see you. Royal Flush, Tit Villas, and... Use of Weapons, thank you for your contributions in the chat. Use of Weapons, Virgo Pros is here, and Zippish Shavit is here. Thank you all for joining me on this, I believe, yes it is, Wednesday show. Let's move on to the Times. Mark Kenosis rates the Sun minus 69 in racecourse dividends. Hello, Hadley Moon. Thank you for joining us for the first time. I hope you are enjoying the show. It is a daily show, and we review the papers from the cursed island of Britain. Right, let's move on to the Times. Okay, front page of the Times, top of the shop, hot blouses, the best tops for sultry weather, plus what Harry should really write about. I think he will be fine with that. The upper story is Cummings discussed ousting PM just after election landslide. Just repeating what was said in the Koonsberg interview yesterday. On the right-hand side of the page, peers banned from bars for missing bullying workshop. If I was a peer who wanted to go into the parliamentary bars, I would simply attend the mandatory training. And the main story, migrant crossings into Britain hit new record, the usual twisting of figures and misstating of international obligations by the Times. Use of Weapon says Harry should write a Harry Potter /fic. Rosie says great. Sharing a racehorse is great for tax purposes as well as making things look legit on paper. On page 3, Amazon delivers boss into space. Fuck him. Harry may get £20 million for memoirs, writes Valentine Lowe. He won't. People in the publishing industry were saying this yesterday, that that's a completely ludicrous figure, has no bearing on the fact. Very unlikely. It's going to be much, much less than that. Probably about half, if not a quarter of that. Still, not chicken feed, but certainly not 20 million quid. But expect to see that number paraded everywhere still. Vicar's final word helped put Hardy in Poets' Corner. Thomas Hardy never went to church, but a vicar basically spoke up for him. Social care reform on ice until autumn. This from the Times that was suggesting last week that he'd release a plan by this week. Delay your holiday getaway until after 8 p.m. RAC tells motorists. Better way to avoid queues and accidents, all that kind of thing. Heist thieves replace gems with pebbles. Court heard, as I said already. Give them the diamonds. If you're stupid enough to be fooled into losing your diamonds because they were replaced by pebbles, you never own the diamonds in the first place. Cinema fined 750 grand. We've covered that story. Keep life moving is new slogan amid confusion over isolating. Yes, hands, space, face is over. It's now time for keep life moving, whatever the fuck that means. Use of Weapon says, what if you travel by train instead of driving like a twat? Train good, car bad. Yeah, well, I do generally travel by train. Mark Cano says, like how he's only wearing that Nazi uniform. I hope his memoir gets the proper juicy stuff, like how he's only wearing that Nazi uniform to distract from William in blackface. Mostly male panel accused of failing pregnant women. Welcome to the shittest country. Pregnant women were not prioritised for coronavirus vaccines because the relevant committee is dominated by men. This is a claim from Nadine Dorries, the Conservative MP, who is allowed to be a junior health minister. Imagine that. She told Sarah Owen, the Labour MP for Luton North, during a Westminster Hall debate, she made the point that the government needs to ensure that all pregnant women are vaccinated. My daughter is 32 weeks pregnant, so no one has been more afraid of that than me, but I am afraid that politicians do not make clinical decisions, and the government is not the JCVI. It is completely independent. They decide who is vaccinated. But I would tell her that I was quite shocked to discover, after constantly asking why pregnant women aren't being prioritised, that the JCVI is made up of 14 men and 3 women. So I'm unsurprised at the JCVI not emphasising or prioritising pregnant women for vaccination. If only... Hey, guess what? The government doesn't need to pass the buck, but it will, fuckers. Pantomime Horse says, love, laugh, keep life moving. Studying Fango says, okay, but train expensive. This is true. It is expensive. Giving children usual jabs more important than COVID vaccine. That seems sensible. Spain fights 2 variants amid rise of beta cases in the young. Ashcroft's son faces partner in court after killing. The Belize thing rolls on. Cheerleading bounces its way towards the Olympics. Tom Daley says, I was too focused as child diver. Tom Daley, this Olympic diver, would tell his son to calm down if he became as obsessed with the sport as he was as a child. What a sweet boy. Harassing women in the street to be a crime, says the headline. And then in the comment piece written by Pretty Awful Patel, we get, well, I'll think about it. This happens so often. You look in the newspapers and you'll get told this is going to be made a crime. Look 6, 7, 8, 9, 12, 24 months later and you'll often find no such law has been passed. There's the Wembley inquiry into fans and the police, as we discussed yesterday. Premier League football are held over child sex offences, and on page 19 of the Times, covered everywhere else. On page 23, a comment in full cry could trip Johnson up, writes Daniel Finkelstein in a column, seemingly forgetting that Boris Johnson was self-isolating and therefore was a disembodied head at today's PMQs. Roger Boys, the most unfortunately named columnist in the Times and perhaps in the entirety of British press, writes, the Greens are choking on the verge of power. Failure to lead the response to Germany's floods shows a protest party enthralled to its roots. Alice Thompson says we've lost touch with our most vital sense. Matthew Paris, I can't even be bothered to deal with. Fuck Matthew Paris. In the birthdays today, Sarah Waters is 55. She is the author, of course, of Tipping the Velvet, amongst other books. Lord Victor Adebowale, sorry. The chairman of the NHS Confederation is 59. Heather Angel, the wildlife photographer, is 80. Paul Casey, the golfer, is 44. Michael Connolly, the writer of the Harry Bosch series, is 65. Wendy Cope, the poet, is 76. Michelle de Carvalho, the financier chairman of CapGen and three-time Olympian, is 77. Paloma Faith is 40. Charlotte Gainsbourg is 50. Richard Gillingwater, chairman of the Janus Anderson Asset Management Group, is 65. So Richard Gosney, Lieutenant Governor of the Isle of Man, is 70. Josh Hartnett, the actor, is 43. Yusuf Islam, brackets Cat Stevens, is 73. Norman Jewison, the director and producer, is 95. Richard Johnson, the jockey, is 44. Ross Kemp is 57. Baroness Susan Kramer is the Lib Dem MP for Richmond Park until 2010, is 71. Stefan Löfven, the Prime Minister of Sweden, is 64. John Lowe, the darts world champion in 79, 87 and 93, is 76. John Neal, the chairman and CEO of Unipark Group, is 74. Julian Pettifer, the broadcaster, is 86. Simon Reed, the author and TV presenter, is 49. Barry Richards, the cricketer for South Africa in 1970 and the commentator, is 76. Jason Roy, cricketer for Surrey in England, is 31. Juno Temple, the actress, is 32. Gary Trudeau, the cartoonist known for Doonesbury, is 73. Isabel Worth holds the record for the most Olympic medals won by an equestrian athlete. She is 52. Claire Williams, deputy team principal of Williams Formula One until 2020, is 45. John Woodvine, the actor known for Z-Cars, is 92. On this day in 1897, the Tate Gallery opened in London on the site of a former prison, the Millbank Penitentiary. The last word goes to Bridget Brophy, the author and campaigner in Unlived Life, a manifesto against factory farming. Whenever people say we mustn't be sentimental, you can take it they're about to do something cruel, and if they add we must be realistic, they mean they're going to make money out of it. What's a darts champion doing in the birthdays? Why shouldn't the darts champion be there? A three-time world darts champion at that. In the world news, drug firms defend vast US opioid deal. Erdogan delivers blow to Cypriot process. At a military parade, they had soldiers that looked dressed up like they were Doctor Who villains. That was a great quote, yeah, definitely. Darts is a popular sport in England, yeah. Mark Gnosis, darts is a real serious sport in the UK, yeah, absolutely. Employers would like to meet Gen Z job seekers on TikTok. Oh, fuck off. That is in America. Paying homage to Franco will be a crime in war on fascist legacy in Spain. Good. Xi's speeches inspire profitable cheating for a fee of £100. Mr. Wang's clients can access 40,000 cheat sheets that cover all of President Xi's keynote speeches. They give China's millions of Communist Party members an easy way to churn out essays on their leaders' declarations that they are increasingly expected to produce. Birds suffer heat wave hawkpocalypse. A hawkpocalypse was caused by the heat wave that scorched North America's Pacific Northwest as chicks jumped prematurely from tree top nests to escape record temperatures. That's really sad. Use of weapons says the only people who want to meet Gen Z on TikTok who aren't Gen Z are nonces. That's a strong but arguable position. In the Times too, have you got a beach blouse? I do not. Person in the room, do you have a beach blouse? I do not. Well, apparently we all need a beach blouse. Get spending. Spend. Consume to distract yourself from the inevitable crushing reality of death. What? The death of the universe. Yeah, and the heat death of the universe. The Times, like the Daily Mail, as you'll see in a moment, takes the fact that Prince Harry says, "I've worn many hats," literally by printing pictures of him wearing different hats. In the business news, Simon Frank says a nervous public can take comfort from banks' dividend policy makers, as if the nervous public is just waiting to find out what the bank's dividend policy makers are doing. C12H122 says, coins, spend. Mark Kenosis says, the only non-Gen Z, non-nonces who even use TikTok are Mick, John Duncan, and that lady with no teeth. Also Milo from Trash Future. Use of Weapons says there's been a dearth of coins lately. There has. It's a sad thing. In the obituaries in the Times, Lawrence Benny Goodman, pilot with the elite Dambuster Squadron who bombed Hitler's Eagle Nest, the Tirpitz battleship, and the Arnsberg Railway viaduct. He has died at age 100. Also in the obits, Yang Huai-ding, a warehouse worker turned stock tycoon who rode the wave of China's market reforms and was nicknamed Millionaire Yang. He has died at age 70 from complications from diabetes. And Sizzling Faye Allen, London nurse who in 1968 changed headlines and changed careers and made headlines when she became Britain's first black policewoman. She died July 4th, 2021, age 83. And in the sports, Price in as Lions bid to blitz box. Passport plan for top flight. Premier League is in talks with clubs over the introduction of compulsory COVID passports for fans from the start of the season, and COVID changes game's motto. After more than 125 years, the Olympic motto, faster, higher, stronger, has been amended to include the word together to reflect solidarity. Use of weapons says going to assassinate a minor royal to boost the memorial coin industry in a Minecraft simulation, of course. And now we come finally to the Daily Mail with just 18 minutes of the show, 18 possible minutes of the show to go. So let's go. Front page of the Daily Mail. Revenge dramas boil over. Brutal, disloyal and obsessive. What happened to my old friend Dom? Well, what happened, Sarah Vine, is he started to turn all the things that you liked about him when he was doing it to people you didn't give a shit about against you and your friends. That's what happened. And Harry's £20 million book has to be a tell-all with the palace in his sights, says Richard Kay, a man who obsessively tells us how well he knew Harry's mother. It's not a £20 million book. That's a bullshit figure. Letty Basker says Bridget Brophy is a brilliant woman. No, sorry, someone said that to... Yeah, Lady Bass says, Bridget Brophy was a brilliant woman. I only recently found out about her. My friend wrote a book chapter about her work, RE, non-human animals. That's really cool. That's I know a bit about her, but I might look into her a bit more since everyone's talking about her here. On page 3, they got pictures of Kate Moss and Sadie Frost out. They've got excessive pictures of migrants and immigrants and refugees coming ashore. As we send cash to France, our lifeboats become taxi service. Well, I tell you fucking what, I would rather that lifeboats went out there and saved lives. That's their job, rather than going. Can I check your papers before I save you from drowning? Fuck off. Use of weapons, critical support for Le Marine Francais for helping migrants get to Britain to drive the boomers mental and give them a brain aneurysm. Sarah Vine writes, brutal, disloyal and obsessive, my old friend Dom seems hell-bent on destroying his former boss, whatever cost. This is an absolutely mad column that features her quoting Taylor Swift, going on about Winston Churchill, inevitably, and various other things. Whether or not Dominic Cummings can hold his wine, apparently he can. Again, do look at today's newsletter if you want to know about that. Mark Nosa says, I'd rather RNLI did that than save British people. On page 9, Villanelle's latest exotic killing field, Margate. They've been filming Killing Eve in Margate. It's the final series. Last straw for Royals for $20 million. This will have to be a tell-all on the Palace's great fear. Who will be in the firing line? Hopefully all of them. Here is the Daily Mail taking Prince Harry saying he's worn many hats, literally, with a spread of him wearing many hats, including a feathered headdress in Guyana, which the Daily Mail says cultural appropriation. Well, not if people in Ghana gave it to him to wear, obviously. Great NHS app switch off. 1 in 4 users have deleted or disabled it. Majority say PM U-turn has damaged trust. Well, not surprised. Ministers pandemic ping pong. 2 top Tories say you can make up your own mind on isolation. Then number 10 insists it's crucial to obey, even though it's not the law. Oh, fuck off. Amber Alert. Could more hotspots face France-style curbs? Yes, I should say so. Victory for WASPy women failed by rising pension age. Millions of women forced to wait for up to 6 years extra for their state pensions could now get compensation after blunders meant it took 14 years to properly warn them. Who's been framed as Pierce Brosnan exhibits his enthusiastic efforts. Oh, fuck's sake. Which star artist makes the best impression? I mean, they're all awful. These are all awful in their own individual ways. Sarah Vine smashing a few of Go's favourite nose powder before she's writing that arc. She can't have separated. I really thought it stood together onto his massive cock. Gove is living with a cabinet office advisor, says Mark Gnosis. Yes, that is true. Although that advisor denies that they are in a sexual relationship. It's all a bit woo at the moment. Olympics could still be axed, hints Tokyo chief. What's better than will they, won't they with an Olympics? Delivered to the stars. Here is another picture of Jeff Bezos' space cock blasting into space. Thanks for that, Mark. Yeah, well, I don't mind because it doesn't end up in the final video, so you can name away in the chat if you want. Use of Weapons says they share a platonic love of Colombian pharmacology in Minecraft. I'm not sure that's available in Minecraft. On this day, July 2021, from the Daily Mail archive, July 21, 1976. It is late afternoon on the plain of gold, and the Martian shadows are lengthening. The desert landscape of rock and sand is the view that went into history yesterday. The view that man gazed upon for the first time as his Viking spacecraft made landfall on Mars, 213 miles away from home. July 21st, 1980. Every day, some 100 souvenirs vanish from the House of Commons, cafeterias, and dining rooms. Ashtrays, crockery, cutlery, cruets, and they all bear the famous portcullis insignia. And that's the attraction for the pilfering visitors. They say happy birthday to Paloma Faith, 40, and Josh Hartnett, 43. Also born on this day, Molly Sugden, born 1922, died 2009. The actress from New York State played Mrs. Slocum, senior saleswoman of the ladies' separates and underwear department in the BBC sitcom Are You Being Served? Asked about how similar she was to her character, Sugden replied, "Unlike me, Mrs. Slocum could never find a fella. She loved fast cars, and said, I used to speed about in a Porsche, but 7 or 8 years ago, I was done for doing 92 miles per hour on the motorway, so now I drive a Mercedes." Bill Pertwee, born 1926, died 2013. The Buckinghamshire-born actor made his name as greengrocer turned grumpy ARP warden William Hodges, nemesis of Captain Mannering, who he called Napoleon in Dad's Army. Pertwee, who also appeared in 2 Carry On films, was introduced to show business by his cousin, Doctor Who star John Pertwee. On July 21st in 1994, Tony Blair succeeded the late John Smith as Labour leader. In 2011, the US Space Shuttle program, which began in 1981 with the launch of Columbia, ended after 30 years as Atlantis landed at Cape Canaveral. Quote of the day comes from Cher. Mother told me a couple of years ago, "Sweetheart, settle down and marry a rich man." I said, "Mom, I am a rich man." Joke of the day. A man walks into a bar with a roll of tarmac under his arm and says, "Pint, please, and one for the road." Right. Money Mail. Various things. They've got a 12-page Olympic pullout. Coins alert. Own the world's very first Queen Elizabeth II Platinum Jubilee coin presented within a limited edition cover. Official release price $19.95 plus free delivery. Platinum Queenie, she is on a coin. Oh yeah. Coins. Person in the room is jumping for joy, says Red Tixie. I know, she's delighted. The thought of coins. She loves coins. You might think she's shouting no coins, but she's actually saying mo coins. Pick of the day on in the TV is Les Dawson, The Lost Tapes at 9 p.m. on ITV. And the TV reviews Uprising gets 4 out of 5, and Torn Apart Family Courts uncovered 4 stars. Good to see the Ged coin in the chat. C122, H122. If only she was on a coin. I know. Person in the room coin. That's the coin we want. Wait, the Queen is on every coin. Yes, but this is a special platinum coin.
Is it actually a coin? Can you send it?
Yes. I don't know. I haven't checked. Garfield is reading a letter to Odie. Chloe and Co. A man and Chloe are drinking and talking about relationships. The man says, "I was wondering if you'd pose in the nude for me." She said, "Would I get to keep the painting?" And he says, "Painting? Oh, God. Fred Bassett's out for a little drive in the car with his owners, and they've gone to the garden centre, which he is delighted about. Ash Flax McNulty says, road jokes, 2 bits of tarmac in a bar. They see a red bit of tarmac sitting in the corner alone. One says to the other, keep your distance. He's a psychopath. That's a much better joke. Red Hixie says, person in the room is shouting no, meaning number of coins. Yes, exactly that. Alright, here's today's poem. It's really fucking awful. It's called The Social Dilemma. I used to read the newspapers or watch news on TV, and never did the universe conform itself to me. It didn't tell me what to wear or which content I should see. It didn't shield me from a view from which I disagreed. But now the world we live online is stuffed with algorithms and forces everyone we view through an advertisement prism. Oh, Jesus. Whether celebrities or cats or COVID conspiracies, whatever we've been to watch, the more of that we'll see. Things which start to fill your feed then start to fill your mind, till life's reality recedes and no sense is left behind. As it subtly shapes your thoughts, the more you're tempted to convince yourself that others must all think and act like you. Compulsively and passively we consume it on a plate, like Pavlov's dogs, a pinging phone can make us salivate. Somewhere someone is weeping for not getting enough likes, and judging themselves wanting loses interest in real life. Don't let the algorithms trap you in their fantasies. Reclaim your mind, stay safe online, stay you and I'll stay me. And that is by Sylvie Collins of Chorley, Lancashire, who has...
Don't give up the day job.
Who should not give up the day job and certainly needs to read a definition of what an algorithm is. In the straight to the point letter today, Mike Hurst writes... Who is running the country now? The Prime Minister, the Chancellor and the Health Secretary are self-isolating. Maybe it's Carrie, Dylan the dog and Larry the mouse catcher. P. Wilson says, his approach to COVID is making Boris Johnson look like King Canute. You don't understand the story of King Canute, do you? You don't. Brilliant. Graham Anderson says, how many people have told their employer they have been pinged and are now enjoying a 10-day holiday in the sun? Trevor Thompson says, until the COVID Act is repealed, we will never have a real Freedom Day. P. Johnson writes, after the Olympics, can we look forward to a Japanese variant coming home? Colin Warburton says, what is it with this country coming to? What is this country coming to when Tony Blair talks more sense about COVID than our elected politicians? Ray Prince says, I smiled at the sporting Welsh applauded Italian fans. In London, I saw English supporters cheer Denmark's easy 4-0 defeat of Wales. R. Barnett says, I suspect the Welsh applauded Italian fans because their team had beaten England. Jill Stone of St. Osyth, Essex writes, robots were built to replace human error, but managed to behave like us and cause a fire at Ocado by colliding. Jesus. Today's recipe is veggie barbecue dish. That's literally... Oh, hang on. Halloumi kebabs with thyme and lemon based. Halloumi kebabs with thyme and lemon base. Sounds quite nice. Pantomime Horse says, Tony Blair versus our elected government. Whoever wins, we lose. C122, H122, classic, says Murdoch is running the country. Use of weapons. I wish everyone involved in this poem a very happy get hemorrhoids. Pantomime Horse, remember when you were a kid and thought that all poems had to rhyme? Yeah, and they still think that in the Daily Mail. Guybrush Tweetgood, I wonder if Tonti will ever reflect on how much he appeals to male letter readers. No, he won't. And actually, he'd probably say, well, you need to apply to non-Labour voters. The Ultimate Cunard Canaries Sailcation, featuring Eamon Holmes, Paul Potts, Michael Ball, Bjorn Again. Yours for £1,299 per person. Jesus Christ. Still trying to sell you electric boilers, various other things. There's a growing pension scandal around Debenhams. And in the sport, Lions go savage. Cutthroat selections from Gatland as he axes big names but keeps Alan Wynne-Jones as captain. West Ham and £400 million takeover bid. A group of investors based in the UK have made a takeover bid for West Ham worth more than £400 million. Sources claim the proposal would arm manager David Moyes with significant transfer funds and transform the London Stadium and surrounding area. However, the consortium, which includes former QPR chief executive Philip Beard, saw their offer rejected by Hammer's majority shareholder David Sullivan. Absolute cruise to hell. Agree with you, Friar Bentos. Wait, Pol Pot is on that cruise. Pol Pot. Guybrush Tweetgood, extremely cursed cruise. The Eamon Holmes show gets a bit X-rated. Jesus. Right, give me your scores for Daily Mail as I remind you of the usual final thoughts and all of that kind of thing. Please do check out the newsletter, brokenbottleboy.substack.com. You can subscribe for free, and if you like it, consider taking up a paid subscription. Also, if you've got if you're an Amazon if you're an Amazon Prime subscriber, you can subscribe for free to this channel, but I get a bit of money for that, so it's always useful. Use of weapons gives the Daily Mail minus £45 million bribe to keep dumb Muslims out. C122, H122, no one's buying West Ham because of the free stadium. Guybrush Tweetgood, I'd take my fucking chances on the Titanic instead of that cruise. God damn. Yeah, incredibly cursed cruise. Also, if you do like this show and you just want to chuck in a one-off donation or a one-off contribution to help me keep running the show, it's been a bit light recently, so if you feel generous or willing to do that, go to paypal.me/conquest of the useless. And if you do donate any money to, or contribute any money to the newspaper fund, tell me in the comment bit of your donation what magazine you want to see in the magazine review on Friday, and if it's a good one, I might buy it and get it. Right, and finally, if you're not yet in the Discord, do consider joining the Discord. You find out things about the show ahead of time, chat with other funny people. It's good. Here is the link for that. And Guybrush Tweetgood rates the Daily Mail Eamon Holmes' penis magic show out of 10. Pantomime Horse says, today, between Mick the Papers and the chat, I've learned about Operation Gladio and Bridget Brophy, so thanks you all. Thanks you all. Yo, and thank you for being here, Pantomime Horse. Always good to see you. Finally, let's just have a final roll call before I say goodbye. I'm, of course, the Broken Bottle Boy. Follow me on Twitter. The excellent Guybrush Tweetgood has been in the mod squad today. Academy Impossible achieves Alon Mitzray, Ashflats McNulty, C122, H122, Clara Blow 82, Commander Root, Discord for small streamers, all in the chat. Farage's fucked face in the chat. Friar Bentos, Gurley, Hadley Moon. Thank you for joining us for the first time. Jinnel, Letty Baskers, the excellent Letty Baskers. Mark Kenosis, funny as fuck as always. Albert Camus, thanks for being here. Pantomime Horse, really good to see you joining us as it is to see Red Tick Seed, Revel 1285, Rosie Rose, Sad Girl, Snur, Soul Chicken, the ever excellent Studying Fangirl. Do subscribe to her on Twitch so you catch her streams. Torms, The Royal Flush, Tit Villas, Use of Weapons, the brilliant Use of Weapons, V&K, Violets TV, Virgo Pros, and Zipper Shavit have been here. This has been Wednesday. This has been the paper thing. I am the Broken Bottle Boy. I will be back tomorrow at 1 p.m. If you're watching this on YouTube, like and subscribe and all that lovely stuff, and share the video and whatever. Throw me a bone here. All right, I'll see you tomorrow at 1 p.m. In the meantime, catch me on Twitter, catch me on Discord, catch me outside. Bye-bye all, and I hope you're okay in this heat, especially Studying Fangirl in the 31 degrees heat in Israel. Bye-bye.